Admiral Jae-sung stood on the bridge of his ship, the Star Watcher. He looked out at the stars. It was another day of border patrol for the Galactic Council. Jae-sung sighed. These patrols were usually boring. "Admiral, we've picked up something strange on our scanners," said Officer Min-seo. Her voice was excited. Jae-sung walked over to her station. "What is it?" he asked. Min-seo pointed to her screen. "It's big, sir. Really big. And it's not like anything we've seen before." Jae-sung's eyes widened. He could see a large dot on the screen. It was moving slowly towards their sector. "Can we get a visual?" he asked. "Yes, sir," said Min-seo. She pressed some buttons on her console. A large screen at the front of the bridge lit up. At first, it showed only stars. Then, something came into view. It was a ship, but like no ship Jae-sung had ever seen. The ship was huge. It was dark gray and shaped like an arrow. It had smooth sides and sharp edges. Lights blinked along its hull. It moved through space with grace, despite its size. What is that?" whispered Jae-sung. The bridge crew was silent. They all stared at the screen in awe. "Sir," said Min-seo after a moment, "our scans show that the ship's technology is, well, it's far beyond ours." Jae-sung felt a chill run down his spine. In all his years serving the Galactic Council, he had never encountered a ship so advanced. "Can we tell where it's from?" he asked. Min-seo worked at her console for a few minutes. Then she gasped. "Sir, you're not going to believe this," she said. "The ship, it's of human origin." Jae-sung stared at her in disbelief. "Human? But that's impossible. Humans are a primitive species. They've barely left their own planet." But the evidence was right in front of them. The massive ship on their screen was indeed built by humans. "What should we do, Admiral?" asked his second-in-command, Commander Da-hyun. Jae-sung thought for a moment. This was big. Really big. It could change everything the Galactic Council thought they knew about the universe. "Send a message to Council headquarters," he said. "Tell them we've made first contact with an advanced human ship. Request immediate instructions." As Da-hyun sent the message, Jae-sung turned back to the screen. The human ship was getting closer. "Should we hail them, sir?" asked Min-seo. Jae-sung shook his head. "Not yet. We wait for orders from the council. For now, we watch and learn." The minutes ticked by slowly. The bridge crew watched the human ship with a mix of fear and fascination. How had humans advanced so quickly? What did this mean for the balance of power in the galaxy? Finally, a message came through from Council headquarters. Jae-sung read it quickly. "All right, everyone," he said. "Our orders are to make contact. We're to be friendly but cautious. Remember, we represent the entire Galactic Council here." Jae-sung took a deep breath. This was a historic moment. He was about to be the first council member to speak with an advanced human. "Open a channel," he said. Min-seo pressed some buttons. "Channel open." "Sir," she said. Jae-sung straightened his uniform. He cleared his throat. "This is Admiral Jae-sung of the Galactic Council ship Star Watcher. We come in peace and wish to establish communication." For a moment, there was silence. Then, a voice came through their speakers. It was clear and confident. "This is Captain Soo-min of the Earth battleship Thunderbolt. We're pleased to make your acquaintance, Admiral Jae-sung." Jae-sung exchanged looks with his crew. The human spoke perfect galactic standard. Another surprise. "Captain Soo-min," said Jae-sung, "we're surprised to encounter such an advanced ship from Earth. We were unaware that humans had progressed so far." There was a chuckle from the other end. "Yes, we've come a long way in a short time. We've been looking forward to joining the galactic community." Jae-sung nodded, even though the human couldn't see him. "We have much to discuss, Captain. Would you be willing to meet?" "Of course," said Captain Soo-min. "We'd be honored. Shall we arrange a meeting on your ship or ours?" Jae-sung hesitated. He looked at the massive human ship on the screen. It dwarfed his own vessel. "Perhaps it would be best if we came to you," he said finally. "Excellent," said Captain Sumin. "We'll prepare for your arrival. We look forward to meeting you, Admiral." As the communication ended, Jae-sung turned to his crew. Their faces showed a mix of excitement and worry. He knew they were all thinking the same thing. Nothing would ever be the same again. Admiral Jae-sung stood in the transport room of his ship. He was about to board a shuttle to the human battleship Thunderbolt. His heart was beating fast. "Are you sure about this, sir?" asked Commander Dahyun. He looked worried. Jae-sung nodded. "We have our orders. We need to learn more about these humans." The Admiral and a small team boarded the shuttle. As they flew towards the massive human ship, Jae-sung couldn't help but feel small. The Thunderbolt was even more impressive up close. Its hull was smooth and shiny. Strange symbols were painted on its side. Jae-sung guessed they were human writing. A large door opened on the side of the ship. The shuttle flew inside. They landed in a bright, clean hangar. As the shuttle door opened, Jae-sung took a deep breath. He stepped out, ready to meet the humans. A group was waiting for them. At the front was a woman in a dark uniform. She smiled and stepped forward. "Welcome aboard the Thunderbolt, Admiral Jae-sung," she said. "I'm Captain Sumin." Jae-sung bowed slightly. "Thank you for having us, Captain." He looked around the hangar. It was full of strange machines and vehicles. Everything looked so advanced. "Would you like a tour of our ship?" asked Captain Sumin. Jae-sung nodded. "Yes, please. We're very curious about your technology." As they walked through the ship, Jae-sung and his team were amazed. They saw engines that seemed to bend space itself. They saw weapons that could destroy planets. They saw medical bays that could heal any injury. How did you advance so quickly?" Jae-sung asked. Captain Sumin smiled. "We're a curious species, Admiral. Once we set our minds to something, we don't stop until we achieve it." They reached the bridge of the ship. It was huge, with screens and control panels everywhere. Officers worked at their stations, some giving curious looks to the alien visitors. "This is where we control the ship," said Captain Sumin. "Would you like to see how it works?" Before Jae-sung could answer, alarms started blaring. Red lights flashed everywhere. "What's happening?" asked Jae-sung, startled. Captain Sumin rushed to a console. Her face turned serious. "We're picking up multiple ships entering the system," she said. "They're not ours, and they're not yours." Jae-sung felt a chill. "Pirates," he said. "They've been a problem in this sector." Captain Sumin nodded. "How many ships do you have in the area?" "Just mine," said Jae-sung. "We're not equipped to handle a large pirate fleet." The captain smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of someone ready for a fight. "Well then, Admiral," she said, "it looks like you'll get to see our ship in action." She turned to her crew. "Battle stations. Prepare for combat." The bridge came alive with activity. Officers rushed to their posts. Screens lit up with tactical displays. "Wait," said Jae-sung. "You're going to fight. There must be dozens of pirate ships out there." Captain Sumin looked at him. Her eyes were calm and confident. "Admiral," she said, "you're about to see why humans have advanced so quickly. We don't just build technology. We master it." She turned back to her crew. "Weapons online. Shields at maximum. Let's show these pirates what happens when they mess with Earth." Jae-sung watched in awe as the human ship moved into position. On the main screen, he could see the pirate fleet approaching. There were indeed dozens of ships. But as the battle began, Jae-sung realized something. The pirates never stood a chance. The Thunderbolt moved with incredible speed and grace. Its weapons fired beams of energy that cut through pirate ships like they were made of paper. Its shields shrugged off enemy fire like it was nothing. In just a few minutes, it was over. The pirate fleet was destroyed or running away. The Thunderbolt hadn't even been scratched. Captain Su-min turned to Jae-sung. The admiral's mouth was open in shock. "So," she said with a smile, "what do you think of human technology now?" Jae-sung could barely speak. I've never seen anything like it," he said. He looked at the captain, then at the rest of the human crew. For the first time, he felt a hint of fear. If this was what humans could do, what did it mean for the rest of the galaxy? As if reading his thoughts, Captain Su-min put a hand on his shoulder. "Don't worry, Admiral," she said. "We come in peace. We want to join your Galactic Council, not conquer it." Jae-sung nodded slowly. But as he looked at the battlefield on the screen, he couldn't help but wonder. What would the Galactic Council think when they heard about this? The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was buzzing with noise. Aliens from 100 different worlds sat in their seats, talking in excited voices. Today was no ordinary meeting. Today, they would discuss the humans. At the front of the hall, Council Leader Ki-ho called for quiet. The room fell silent. "Fellow council members," he said, his voice echoing through the hall. "We are here to discuss a matter of great importance. The humans have arrived on the galactic stage." Murmurs spread through the crowd. Ki-ho raised a hand for silence. "We have all read Admiral Jae-sung's report. The humans have technology far beyond what we thought possible for their species. We must decide how to respond." Counselor Yunji stood up. She was from a planet known for its peaceful ways. "We should welcome the humans with open arms," she said. "Think of what we could learn from them. Think of how they could help us grow." Many council members nodded in agreement, but then Counselor Taiwan stood up. His species was known for being cautious and sometimes afraid of change. "Are we all forgetting how dangerous this could be?" he asked. "These humans appeared out of nowhere with technology that rivals our own. How do we know they come in peace?" The room erupted in argument. Some agreed with Yunji, others with Taiwan. Ki-ho had to call for order several times. In the middle of the chaos, a young aide rushed into the room. She whispered something to Ki-ho. The council leader's eyes went wide. "Silence," he shouted. The room went quiet. "I have just received word. A human ambassador has arrived. He requests to speak to the council." Gasps filled the room. This was unexpected. The council wasn't prepared. "We should hear what they have to say," said Yunji. "It could be a trick," argued Taiwan. Ki-ho thought for a moment. Then he nodded. "We will hear the human ambassador. Bring him in." The doors to the great hall opened. In walked a human man. He was tall for his species, with gray hair and a kind face. He wore a simple but elegant suit. "Greetings, honored members of the Galactic Council," he said in perfect galactic standard. "I am Ambassador Junho from Earth. I come in peace and friendship." The council members watched in silence as Junho walked to the center of the room. "I understand you have concerns about us," he said. "That's natural. We appeared suddenly with technology you didn't expect. But I'm here to assure you that we mean you no harm." Tae-won stood up. "How can we be sure?" he asked. "Your weapons are powerful. How do we know you won't use them against us?" Junho smiled. "Because we believe in peace, Counselor. We've had our wars on Earth. We've learned from them. Now we look to the stars not for conquest, but for friendship and knowledge." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small device. Some council members gasped, thinking it might be a weapon. But when Junho activated it, a hologram appeared. It showed images of Earth, its cities, its nature, its people. "This is our home," said Junho. "We want to share its beauty with you and learn about your worlds in return. We want to join your council as equals and friends." The council members watched the images in awe. They saw humans of all colors working together, building amazing things, exploring their world. Yunji stood up. "I believe him," she said. "I see no threat in these images. I see potential allies." But Taiwan wasn't convinced. "Pretty pictures don't prove anything," he said. "We need more than words and images." Junho nodded. "You're right," he said. which is why we invite a delegation from the Council to visit Earth. See for yourselves who we are and what we stand for." The room filled with excited whispers. An invitation to Earth. It was unexpected and intriguing. Kiho stood up. "Ambassador Junho, we thank you for your words and your invitation. The Council will discuss your offer and give you our answers soon." Junho bowed slightly. "Thank you for hearing me out," he said. "We await your decision with hope for a bright future together." As the human ambassador left the room, the Council erupted in discussion once again. Some were excited about the possibility of visiting Earth. Others were still scared of what it might mean. Keiho looked around the room and sighed. He knew that whatever they decided, nothing would ever be the same again. The galaxy was changing, and they had to change with it. The question was, were they ready for what came next? The Galactic Council's ship landed softly on the green grass of Earth. It was a warm, sunny day. Birds sang in nearby trees. A group of humans waited to greet the alien visitors. Ambassador Junho stepped forward with a warm smile. "Welcome to Earth," he said. "We're honored to have you here." The council members looked around in wonder. Earth was beautiful, full of life and color. It was hard to believe that such an advanced species came from this peaceful-looking world. Counselor Yunji took a deep breath of Earth air. "It smells wonderful here," she said. Taiwan, however, looked suspicious. "Let's not be fooled by pretty sights," he warned. "We're here to learn about their technology and intentions." Junho nodded. "Of course, we have much to show you. Please, follow me." The group walked towards a large, shiny building. Inside, they found a room full of strange machines and glowing screens. "This is one of our technology centers," Junho explained. "Here, we develop the systems that power our ships and cities." A young woman in a white coat approached. "Hello, I'm Dr. Heiyun," she said. "I'll be showing you some of our recent developments." Dr. Heiyun led them to a table where a small device sat. It looked simple, just a metal box with a few buttons. "This," she said, "is our latest energy converter. It can power an entire city using just a cup of water." The council members gasped. Taiwan's eyes narrowed. "That's impossible," he said. Dr. Heiyun smiled. "Would you like a demonstration?" She pressed a button on the device. Suddenly, the whole room lit up brightly. Machines hummed to life all around them. "This entire building is now running on the energy from this small device," Dr. Heiyun explained. Yunji clapped her hands in delight. "Amazing," she said. "Think of how this could help worlds suffering from energy shortages." Taewon frowned. "Or how it could power weapons," he muttered. Junho heard him. "Counselor Taewon, I understand your concerns, but let me show you something else." They moved to another part of the building. Here, they saw humans working with aliens from other worlds. "These are scientists from planets we've already made contact with," Junho explained. "We're working together, sharing knowledge, solving problems that affect us all." An alien scientist waved at them. "The humans are wonderful partners," he said. "They think in ways we never considered. Together, we're making breakthroughs every day." Taewon looked surprised. He hadn't expected to see aliens working happily alongside humans. Next, they visited a hospital. Here, they saw humans using their advanced technology to heal the sick. "Our medical technology can cure diseases that once seemed hopeless," a doctor explained, "and we're eager to share this knowledge with the galaxy." As the tour went on, the council members saw more and more wonders. They saw clean cities powered by sustainable energy. They saw schools where children learned about the universe. They even saw ships preparing for peaceful exploration missions. At the end of the day, they gathered in a beautiful garden. The sun was setting, painting the sky in beautiful colors. Junho looked at the council members. "So, what do you think of Earth now?" he asked. Yunji spoke first. "I'm amazed," she said. "Your people have achieved so much, and you seem genuinely interested in peace and cooperation." Even Taiwan nodded slowly. "I must admit, I'm impressed, he said. You've shown us wonders beyond our imagination, and you've been open and honest with us. Junho smiled. We believe in transparency, he said. We have nothing to hide from our galactic neighbors. The council leader, Kiho, had been quiet all day. Now he spoke. Ambassador Junho, I have one last question, he said. Why do you want to join the Galactic Council? With your technology, you could easily dominate the galaxy. Why seek peaceful cooperation instead? Junho's face became serious. Because we've learned from our history, he said. We've seen the damage that war and domination can do. We've realized that true progress comes from working together, not fighting each other. He looked up at the stars that were beginning to appear in the darkening sky. The universe is vast and full of wonders, he said. We want to explore it with you, learn from you, and help where we can. We believe that together, we can achieve greatness beyond our wildest dreams. The council members looked at each other. They could feel the sincerity in Junho's words. As they prepared to leave Earth, they knew they had a big decision to make. But now, after seeing Earth and its people, that decision seemed much clearer. The galaxy was about to change. And maybe, just maybe, it would change for the better. Hai-Jin sat at her desk, staring at her computer screen. As a junior analyst for the Galactic Council, she spent most of her time looking at boring reports. But today was different. Today, she found something strange. This can't be right, she muttered to herself. She had been going through communication logs when she noticed odd patterns. Some council members were sending secret messages, and these messages mentioned the humans. Hai-Jin looked around the office. No one was paying attention to her. She took a deep breath and decided to dig deeper. Hours passed as Hai-Jin followed the trail of messages. What she found shocked her. There was a group within the council planning to sabotage relations with the humans. They were afraid of human technology and wanted to keep Earth isolated. I have to tell someone, Hai-Jin said, but who could she trust? Just then, a human walked into the office. It was Sang-hoon, the new liaison officer from Earth. Hai-Jin had talked to him a few times. He seemed nice and honest. Hai-Jin made a quick decision. She walked over to Sang-hoon. Excuse me, she said quietly. Can I talk to you in private? It's important. Sang-hoon looked surprised but nodded. They went to a small meeting room and closed the door. What's wrong? Sang-hoon asked. Hai-Jin took a deep breath. I found something bad, she said. There's a group in the council trying to ruin relations with Earth. Sang-hoon's eyes widened. Are you sure? Hai-Jin nodded and showed him the evidence on her tablet. Sang-hoon looked at it carefully. This is serious, he said. We need to investigate this further. But we have to be careful. We don't know who we can trust. Hai-Jin felt scared, but also excited. This was much more interesting than her usual work. What should we do? She asked. Sang-hoon thought for a moment. We need more proof, he said, and we need to find out who's behind this. Can you help me? Hai-Jin nodded eagerly. Yes, I want to help. For the next few days, Hai-Jin and Sang-hoon worked in secret. They dug through more records and followed more leads. Slowly, they uncovered the full plot. They found out that a group of council members from wealthy worlds were behind the conspiracy. These members were afraid that human technology would make their worlds less important. They planned to cause problems between humans and other aliens to keep Earth out of the council. We have to stop them, Hai-Jin said. But how? Sang-hoon had an idea. We need to get this information to both the council leaders and the human ambassador, he said. But we have to do it in a way that the conspirators can't stop. They came up with a plan. Hai-Jin would send the evidence to council leader Kiho during the next big meeting. At the same time, Sang-hoon would alert Ambassador Junho. The day of the meeting came. Hai-Jin felt nervous as she sat at her desk. She watched her computer screen, waiting for the right moment. In the meeting room, Kiho was talking about trade agreements when his personal device beeped. He looked at it and his eyes went wide. At that same moment, Ambassador Junho received a message from Sang-moon. He read it quickly, his face growing serious. Keiho stood up suddenly. "This meeting is suspended," he said in a loud voice. "I just received information about a serious matter that we must discuss immediately." The room buzzed with confusion. Junho stepped forward. "Council leader," he said, "I believe I've received the same information. Perhaps we should share it with everyone." Keiho nodded. Together, they explained what Hai-Jin and Sang-hoon had discovered. The room erupted in shock and anger. The accused council members tried to deny everything, but the evidence was clear. They had no choice but to admit their plan. As the meeting dissolved into chaos, Hai-Jin watched from her office. She felt proud of what she and Sang-hoon had done. They had uncovered the truth and maybe saved relations between Earth and the Galactic Council. Sang-hoon appeared at her desk. He was smiling. "We did it," he said. "Thank you for your bravery, Hai-Jin. You've done a great service for both your people and mine." Hai-Jin smiled back. She had started the week as a bored junior analyst. Now she felt like she had helped shape the future of the galaxy. As alarms sounded and people rushed around, Hai-Jin wondered what would happen next. One thing was for sure. Things in the Galactic Council would never be the same again. The Galactic Council was in chaos. News of the conspiracy had spread fast. Some council members were angry. Others were scared. No one knew what would happen next. In the middle of this mess, alarms started blaring. Red lights flashed in the council chambers. "What's happening?" shouted Keiho, trying to be heard over the noise. An officer ran into the room. "Sir," he said, breathing hard, "we've detected ships entering the system. They're not responding to our hails." Kaiho's face went pale. "How many?" "At least 50, sir, maybe more." The room went quiet. Everyone knew what this meant. It was an attack. Just then, Ambassador Junho's communicator beeped. He answered it quickly. "Ambassador," said a voice, "this is Captain Su-min of the Thunderbolt. We've picked up the enemy ships. We're moving to intercept." Junho looked at Keiho. "The human ships are going to help," he said. Keiho nodded, grateful but worried. "We need to evacuate the council," he said. As council members rushed to escape pods, Keiho, Junho, and a few others stayed behind to coordinate the defense. In space, the battle was about to begin. The enemy ships, a mix of pirate vessels and ships from worlds unhappy with the council, approached fast. Captain Su-min stood on the bridge of the Thunderbolt. Next to her was Admiral Jae-sung, who had come to help. "This is it," said Su-min. "Are you ready, Admiral?" Jae-sung nodded. He was nervous but determined. "Let's show them what humans and the council can do together," he said. The battle began. Lasers flashed across space. Ships exploded in bright bursts of light. The human ships, with their advanced technology, were amazing to watch. They moved faster and hit harder than anything the council had seen before. But the enemy had numbers on their side. For every ship they lost, it seemed like two more appeared. Back in the council chambers, Keiho and Junho watched the battle on big screens. Things didn't look good. "We need to do something," said Keiho, "or we'll lose everything." Junho thought hard. Then he had an idea. "I think I know how we can end this," he said, "but I'll need your help." Keiho listened to Junho's plan. It was risky, but it might work. He agreed. Junho quickly sent a message to Captain Su-min. Then he and Keiho raced to a small ship. In space, the battle raged on. The Thunderbolt and other ships fought bravely, but they were being pushed back. Suddenly, a small ship appeared. It flew right towards the center of the enemy fleet. "What are they doing?" asked Jae-sung, watching from the Thunderbolt. Su-min smiled. "They're ending this war," she said. The small ship stopped in the middle of the enemy fleet. Then it started broadcasting a message to all ships. On the screens, two faces appeared. It was Kaiho and Junho standing side by side. "This is Council Leader Kaiho," said Kaiho. "And Ambassador Junho of Earth," added Junho. Together, they explained what had happened. They told everyone about the conspiracy and how it had been uncovered. They talked about the amazing things humans and other species could do together. "We don't need to fight," said Kaiho. "We can work together for a better future for all of us." "Earth extends its hand in friendship," said Junho. "Not just to the Council, but to all worlds. Let's end this conflict and start building something amazing together." As they spoke, ships on both sides stopped firing. Everyone was listening. When the message ended, there was silence. Then, one by one, enemy ships started powering down their weapons. Back on the Thunderbolt, Sumin and Jae-sung watched in amazement. "They did it," said Jae-sung. "They actually did it." Sumin nodded, smiling. "That's the power of working together," she said. Over the next few hours, the fighting stopped completely. Ships from both sides helped rescue people from damaged vessels. Enemies who had been fighting moments before now worked side by side. As the sun rose on a new day, Kaiho and Junho returned to the council chambers. They were tired but happy. "What happens now?" asked Kaiho. Junho looked out at the stars. "Now," he said, "we start building the future, together." As news of what happened spread across the galaxy, people everywhere felt hope. The day that started with war had ended with the promise of a new beginning. The galaxy would never be the same, but maybe, just maybe, it would be better. 1 year had passed since the Great Space Battle. The Galactic Council chambers were buzzing with excitement. Today was a special day. Today, Earth would officially join the Council. Kaiho stood at the front of the room. He looked out at the faces before him. There were aliens from 100 different worlds. And now, there were humans too. "Friends," Kaiho said, his voice strong and clear, "we are here to welcome Earth into our family of worlds. This is a historic moment." Ambassador Junho stepped forward. He carried a small blue and green flag, the flag of Earth. He placed it next to the flags of other Council worlds. "Thank you," Junho said. "Earth is honored to join the Galactic Council. We look forward to working with all of you for a brighter future." The room erupted in cheers and applause. Many beings who had once feared humans now welcomed them as friends. After the ceremony, there was a big party. Aliens and humans mingled, sharing food and stories from their worlds. In one corner, Hai-jin and Sang-hoon watched the celebrations. They had become good friends over the past year. "Can you believe it?" Hai-jin asked. "A year ago, I was just a junior analyst. Now I'm helping coordinate interspecies projects." Sang-hoon grinned. "And I'm no longer just a liaison. I'm part of the team planning the first joint human-alien space mission." They both laughed, remembering how they had uncovered the conspiracy together. That event had changed both their lives. Across the room, Captain Sumin and Admiral Jae-sung were deep in conversation. They were discussing plans for a new type of ship, one that would combine the best of human and alien technology. "With your weapons systems and our faster-than-light drive," Sumin was saying, "we could explore further than ever before." Jae-sung nodded excitedly. "And we could respond faster to any worlds that need help. This ship could save lives across the galaxy." Meanwhile, Kaiho and Junho stood on a balcony, looking out at the stars. "It's hard to believe how much has changed," Kaiho said. "A year ago, many of us thought humans might be a threat. Now you're helping us solve problems we've struggled with for centuries." Junho smiled. "And we've learned so much from you too. Your knowledge of the galaxy, your different ways of thinking. It's opened up new possibilities for us." As they talked, a group of young aliens and humans ran past, laughing and playing together. Kaiho and Junho watched them with pride. "That's the future right there," Junho said. "A galaxy where all species work and play together." Back in the main hall, Dr. He-yun was showing off Earth's latest invention. It was a small device that could clean polluted water in seconds. We developed this by combining our technology with ideas from 3 different alien species, she explained to the crowd around her. Aliens from worlds with water problems looked at the device with hope in their eyes. This little machine could change millions of lives. As the party went on, news came in from across the galaxy. A human doctor and an alien healer had just found a cure for a deadly disease. A team of human and alien scientists had made a breakthrough in clean energy. A mixed crew of humans and aliens had just made first contact with a new species. Everywhere, humans and aliens were working together, solving problems, and making new discoveries. Later that night, as the celebrations wound down, Ki-ho made one last speech. "Today marks the beginning of a new era," he said. "An era of cooperation, of shared knowledge, of unity in our diversity. Together, there's nothing we can't achieve." As Ki-ho spoke, a giant screen behind him showed images from across the galaxy. There were pictures of humans and aliens working side by side, of new inventions, of joyful celebrations on many worlds. The final image was a photograph taken from deep space. It showed the galaxy spinning in the darkness, beautiful and full of light. "Look at our home," Ki-ho said, pointing to the image. "One galaxy, millions of worlds, countless species. But today, we are one people, united in our quest for knowledge, for peace, for a better future for all." As Ki-ho finished speaking, the room filled with cheers and applause. Humans and aliens alike felt a sense of hope and excitement for what was to come. The day the Galactic Council first glimpsed a human battleship had indeed changed everything. But it had changed things for the better. A new age had begun, an age of unity, discovery, and endless possibilities. And this was just the beginning.